Hey there, welcome to the archives. I thought I'd do one more. I use Freshwater. I don't know if you guys have read Freshwater by Igbo and Tamil writer Akwaeke Emezi. Freshwater was their debut novel, right? And in it, Ada was a protagonist, and their longtime friend Malena was deep in oh yeah, now I'm remembering this paper. I use Ada and Malena's relationship to talk about these kinds of things, right? Because what happened is Ada is a Nigerian, how do you say it? Obangye, which is like a gender fluid python trapped in human flesh. This is fiction, but like total. And they talked about that. They had to frame it as fiction, which is what I think they did here. I think that's what Akwaeke had to do here. It's like totally fiction. And you're like, but like we know. Anyways, so Ada is a gender fluid python trapped in human flesh. After being verbally and sexually assaulted by an abusive ex-partner, the voices in Ada's head get louder and more vibrant. Each personality is as distinctly idiosyncratic as the next. They're all fragmented versions of the Ada, which is what they call themselves, right? So to cope, Ada sought counseling and other therapeutic services. They were put on prescription medication, right? So the story didn't say there was no science. There was science. Ada went to therapy. Ada took medication, right? They saw a priest. They checked into a hospital at one point. They were hospitalized. So they didn't do away with science. One of the articles was like, there's a contempt for science. There's not a contempt for science. Science leaves us hanging. The contempt comes from science, who's unable to adequately address us. And then we get frustrated and they're like, oh, there's contempt for science. It's like chronic pain. Oh, these people are using alternative medicine. Do you give me more than Tylenol? But not as bad as morphine. And they're like, well, no. Okay, we'll give you injection shots, right? And like, and that the epidurals I get last for like 2-3 weeks, sometimes a month or two. And then you're back to pain. And they're like, they don't believe in science. They're using herbs. Well, like, because we need as much resources as possible to live and survive in this body. And science alone is not enough. You guys are not keeping up with what our ways are also teaching us. So basically, Ada, they turned to hospital. They were supported by their friends and their family, but it was Malena, right? It was Malena who was like, come, hush. I'm here for you, right? And she goes beyond the tangible acts of solidarity. She intercedes on her own terms because Malena's like, my homie is not doing well. Let me go check what the ancestors are saying about this. Let me go check with the archangels. Right? Malena used these contagious energies to her advantage. Intuition and telepathy was what she knew best. And that's how Malena was like, I'm going to intervene and help my friend here. Let me pray for you. I'm so sick of prayer. I'm so sick of that. But like, I advocate for prayer. Okay? Yes, I do. But you see how long I've been advocating for prayer? That now I'm sick of it because it's not. But, yeah, I love this. Like, I'm getting excited talking about it. But I use Freshwater to kind of connect. I try to connect Freshwater with, what was the protagonist's name in The Evening, the Morning, and the Night? I don't remember, but that's what I tried to do here. So, I might get into this a little bit later, but this is going on. I go into the definition of what telepathy is, some of the experiments that were done, and then Malena was a Dominican. In the book, Malena was a Dominican from Queens, New York, right? So she knows what's good. Them girls in New York, they know. The priests, they know. She's a daughter of Shango, right? So she's initiated. Malena's initiated. She knows. She's been trained. She's a daughter of Santa Barbara. Malena talked to her saints, and her saints spoke to her. This is a quote from page 90 of Freshwater. Emezi writes, they told me you were going to kill yourself. That's telepathy. How would you know? How did you know that Ada was going to kill themselves? The saints told me. The saints didn't tell you? Malena said, they told me you were going to kill yourself. You started breaking glass. You were cutting yourself. You're African. He was on top of you and you just couldn't shake him. You were telling me that you couldn't do it anymore. So this is a telepathy that Malena was getting from Ada, right? These are the subtle details Malena was able to extract from Ada's situation without Ada ever telling her. Ada didn't tell her. Malena just knew. Ada never spilled no tea. Malena just knew, right? We have to remember that intuition is information processing that requires cognitive capacity in order to make sense of the information that's being sorted. So any messages that Malena was receiving, they would have still had to filter it through their own perception, their own experiences, right? For me, sometimes I'll get messages and I don't know how to decode it, because I'm like, what? There's so many different meanings for this one word that I'm hearing that I don't know how to decode it. What are you trying to tell me? These are some of the conversations I was trying to get the academics to talk about, and they're like, girl, give us the sciences and shut up about all that. Shut up about all that freedom is a secret. They were not hearing it. The academics were not hearing it. Why are you talking about this? Conspiracy theorists! And you're just like, okay, but catch me in 100 years. In 100 years when you finally catch up, just remember, y'all go back and honor all of these folks. I was just reading the Protest Psychosis by Jonathan Metzl. How schizophrenia became a black disease. When I read it, I was just thinking about all of our ancestors gone. Folks' family, mothers, daughters, wives, husbands, brothers, the stories of people who were crazy. They were said to be crazy. I just submitted a pitch for a story I wrote, Ridge, and in it, Abaya doesn't want to take, she's like, I'm not taking my mom's car. I'm not taking her car. And her partner's like, girl, we had to take you to the hospital. What do you mean you don't want to drive the car? And later comes out that the driver who would have drove them got into an accident. That's intuition. You don't know how to make sense of it. Something's just saying, there's no rhyme or reason. I'm not getting in that car. I'm not getting in that car. Just like that story my auntie told me. I'm not going to the house. I'm not going to the house. I don't care what you say. I don't care who this man is. I don't care how I make you look. I don't want to go into this house. And they're just like, what are you talking about? You make no sense. There's no material. This is safe. There's no danger here. And like little 5, 4, 3, however old I was like, I don't trust the vibes here. And people are like, she's crazy. Okay. But I'm going to trust that I'm being protected. So this is another long one. I could go on about this forever. I can go on. And this is what I just want more people. 2025, I want to meet more people like this. They don't get it. They think you're crazy. And then they're lying to you. They're gaslighting you. They're calling you crazy. But you think you're normal? Okay. So you don't say nothing. You censor yourself. You really shut up. Because now you can't even get a good job. Why would you hire that girl? First of all, look at her credit score. Second of all, she thinks telepathy is real. Don't hire her. It's stigma. There's a lot of stigma. So word up to all the autistic folks out there that are disrupting stuff. I hope we find each other. I hope we find our people. 2025, I really hope we find our people, because it's really frustrating to like not have people get it. And they look at you like you're the slow one. Meanwhile, they can't keep up. Keep up.